Hi, welcome to Bachelor's Den. I'm Clement Lau. Today, I'm going to show you how to make one of the most trendiest things that's happening right now, macarons. To help me with this, I decided to invite my friend Cecilia, who's an avid baker, to come along on the show and help me.
Hello.
Hello, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So, have you made macaroons before?
I made them once about 10 years ago.
What do you like about macaroons?
I like all the different textures within the macaron. So you know.
Yeah, I like the crunchiness outside, chewy on the inside, and between you have that nice rich buttercream just to go with it.
Yes. What's really funny is I actually don't like it too sweet. So it's hard to find one that isn't.
It is. Let's get to today's ingredients. For today's ingredients, you'll need 3/4 cups of almond meal, 1 cup of confectioner sugar, egg whites of 2 extra large eggs, 1/4 cup of berry sugar, and a pinch of cream of tartar. Okay, to get started, first we're going to mix in the almond meal and a cup of the confectioner sugar. I want to quickly pulse it in a food processor. Here you go. I'm going to get you help me to sift this.
Right.
Just sift it through. This way you don't have any lumps. And while she's doing that, we're going to get working on the meringue. Before we get started, let me explain to you. Commonly, there are about 2 types of meringues that we use to make the macarons. There are the Italian meringue, which is egg whites and hot simple syrup. But today we're going to use the Parisian type, which is just egg whites, sugar, and cream of tartar. Make sure your egg white is room temperature, and don't use fresh eggs. The older eggs, the better. Let's just get it started. Once it foams up a bit, all you have to do now is add a pinch of the cream of tartar. Now that you start seeing some soft peaks, you want to slowly incorporate the berry sugar. Typically at this time is where you want to add the food coloring. Once you add it, you want to keep whisking it until it reaches stiff peaks. Okay, now that we have them in a stiff peak, they're ready to go. What we want to do is pour in half of this mixture into the bowl. I'm going to get you to start folding this.
So you want to be really careful not to overwork the mixture, otherwise you will actually render the mixture useless.
Now that this is ready to go, what we want to do is just put in a piping bag. We attach the piping bag with a 1/2 inch tip. One inch doubts. Keep the bag straight up. Give a couple inches of room next to each other. To avoid a tip, you can also give it a quick flick with the wrist. You can start doing this slowly. Eventually, you'll get the hang of it.
There are actually baking sheet silicone liners that you can get that will indicate how large you should pipe for your macarons, so your macarons will come out perfect every time.
Now that I've piped it out, you just want to give it a good tap.
Settle all the air bubbles.
Yeah, this way all the air bubbles settle. And to get rid of these little tips that you see, just use a bowl of water. Just gently tap it and get rid of them. Now this is ready. All we have to do is let it set for about 30 minutes. In the meantime, you want to set your oven to about 325 degrees. Okay, now that we have the shells resting, I'm going to teach you how to make a very simple buttercream. All you need really is 1/2 cup of butter, a cup of confectioner sugar, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Make sure your butter is room temperature so it's nice and soft. You put it into your mixer. And you want to start whipping it until it's nice and creamy. Now the butter is nice and creamy, you want to start pouring in the sugar a little bit at a time. And keep it on slow. Now that's all incorporated in. You just want to add a couple teaspoons of the vanilla extract. And mix it until it's nice and incorporated. It's also a good idea to give the bowl a good scrape in the bottom so nothing gets left behind. After another minute of mixing, this is good to go. All you have to do now is put it in a piping bag. Okay, now we have let it set for about 30 minutes. What you're looking for is basically a nice little coat on top, so it's a little bit duller than before, and this will help basically solidify that crunch on the surface. We preheat the oven to 325. Now what you want to do is lower it to 300 and place this in the middle rack. Now you want to bake it for about 15 minutes, and about halfway through you want to turn the pan around so it cooks evenly all around.
Wow, they turned out really good.
Now you just want to let them cool down before you touch them. And as you can see, we have these nice crunchy tops, and on the bottom here we have these what we call feet. That's the main characteristic of a good macaron. This is what you want to see. Now that they have cooled down, you can flip them over. And what you want to do is mash them up with another one that are basically equal size. And you start piping the buttercream in them. Now that we have them all paired up, what I do is just squeeze this buttercream right in the center. Try not to hold the bag here or else you're going to melt the butter from the heat from your palm. We'll have like about 3/4 to a tablespoon. Once you've done that, now what I have to do is just put the cover on top and let this rest actually in the fridge for about at least 2 hours so you can let the texture settle. With a few easy steps, you too can make macarons. So until next time, I'll see you on the Bachelor's Den.